Okay, so if there's one thing I know everyone likes, that is computers. So I figured today I would make a video about computers. More specifically, the fact that besides for WKIX, which does still have decent programming on the radio, that is AM 850, channel 85, out of Raleigh, North Carolina. There is also WQDR on AM, which is a new station, classic rock station. I'm not much of a classic rock person, however, it exists, but it's only a 1,000-watt station, which is stupid. But anyway, where I am, during the day, I can sort of pick up WKIX if I'm outside of the house, like way away from anything close to the house and the everything, because there's so much interference coming from this house. But at night, there's just nothing. Now, I'm a person who likes radios. If you haven't noticed, I have a few of them. I do quite like them. Now, I own, and have owned for a while, and I don't know exactly where it is now, but I will find it, a Talking House 5.0 AM radio transmitter. Now, if you're not familiar with the Talking House 5.0 AM radio transmitter, it's a device that, back in the day, was actually designed for real estate agents. And they had some early versions of the Talking House used a cassette tape, and then later ones went on to using a digital message chip, which you could record like a 3 to 5 minute, I forget exactly how long it is, clip, and you would take that and you would basically say, you know, everything that needs to be said about the house you're trying to sell, you know, go over the details and all of that, and then you would have a sign that you put out in the yard that said tune your radio to, I don't know, channel 680, just for, you know, as an example of a random AM station, and someone would pull up outside of the house and tune their car radio to that station, and they could hear information about the house. Well, one important note about the 5.0, I believe it was the 4.6 and later, the 5.0 is just a slightly different revision, is that they have a input. It's a 3.5 millimeter standard, I don't want to say auxiliary, I guess that's technically the right word. Anyway, it's got a 3.5 millimeter mono, of course, input that you can hook up to a tape recorder, a radio, a CD player. Why did I just say radio? A CD player. I suppose you could hook it up to a radio, but that would be kind of pointless unless you wanted to just rebroadcast something already on the radio. Or in our case, a computer. So they have become very popular, although the audio quality isn't quite as great as if you build your own transmitter or get a high-quality transmitter. They've become very popular because they are just plug-and-play, ready to go. They work wonderfully among people who collect vintage radios, who want to listen to their own music on them, but they don't want to modify the radios, you know, so that they have Bluetooth or have to connect individually or whatever, which of course I don't. I just want it to work as it's intended. So that's what we're going to do. And I have hooked it up on and off and, you know, played, you know, individual songs or whatever through the radios, but I'd like to just have it, you know, kind of shuffle through a large list of music that I have, which of course, you know, at first I'll put some on and, you know, it'll get added to eventually, but, you know, just kind of shuffle through my own music without me having to even mess with it, so that I can turn on a radio and it's essentially, you know, I can just listen to whatever's playing at that current time, but it's all music that I am interested in, no ads, nothing like that. So that's what we're going to attempt to do. Now, if you recall, not too long ago, maybe, I don't know, a while back, I made a video because I was aggravated because I was using this Talking House transmitter, and at the time I was using a software called Play It Live to control, you know, the music, to schedule it out and whatnot. And I was having to run it on one of these, I believe it was this one. This is an Optiplex 3040 Micro. And this machine has an Intel Core i7 6700 and 16 gigs of RAM. And this machine barely meets the system requirements of Play It Live. This is so much overkill. This computer is more powerful than my main desktop here. Like, this is absurd requirements. And, oh, well, there went that computer. Point being, I don't take kindly to extreme overkill. Furthermore, that program, even on the minimum hardware like this, would work for, I don't know, a couple days and it would end up crashing. It just, I don't know, it's so heavy, and it would, you know, it's scheduled the music it was going to play, but it also kept a log of what it played, and I realized that, like, you know, if you don't want the same song played in, like, a, you know, say an hour or 2 hours or however long, you could set it, you know, to play certain songs at certain times or not play certain songs, more importantly, you know, same artist for 2 hours, same song for 1 hour or whatever. I understand that you might need to keep a log, you know, of the day, but clear it afterward. But what I think would happen is it would just keep going on and on and on, and after a couple days, even on an i7-6700 with 16 gigs of RAM, it just loaded it down, and eventually the program would run out of memory and would end up doing the good old "this program has quit responding" thing. So that's not going to work, and I really don't need something like that anyway. Something a lot more basic would be fine. So I found a software, and we'll get into that later, that will run on a more reasonable computer. So the question is, which computer am I going to use? Well, this is going to be running 24/7. I don't want to use an e-machine. One of these Optiplexes like this, you know, pretty good. They don't use a ton of power. They're small, compact. Yeah, but these range from 780s with high-end Core 2 Duos to a 9010 here with a 3rd Gen i7. That is extreme overkill. Optiplexes, or sorry, Dimensions, these are great systems. However, even these are overkill. These are Pentium 4 systems. When we come over here, none of this stuff. None of this stuff. There is a Compaq Evo D510 down there, which would be sort of decent for this, just because it's not, you know, very powerful, but it's still overkill. So let's come over here to where some of my legacy PCs are. Well, we've got this gateway here. That's a Pentium 3. That one is running Windows Millennium Edition. But that's my really nice Windows 98 machine. It might not look like it right now because the top of it's pretty damn disgusting. But that thing has a 3DFX Voodoo 3, and it has 256 mega RAM. Optiplex GX1, that would be a typical, you know, low power, run 24/7 type of machine, but this one is in excellent condition. Same thing goes with this Dell Dimension XPS here. This is in just such good condition that I don't want to run it 24/7. Well, we've got this Optiplex GX110 that someone's painted gray. I would use that. That would be decent. However, this machine actually does serve a certain purpose, and it gets used every now and then, so we can't do that. We come over here. This one's actually a new edition. This is an A-Open PC. It doesn't work. The boards pull out of it, so we can't use that. Wouldn't want to anyway. Down here we've got another E-Machines and another Dell Optiplex, which would both be fine. Maybe not the E-Machines. Those don't really like running 24/7, and we're going to be running it in heat because it's eventually going to be working out in the shed, kind of stuffed up in the rafters, so it's going to be getting quite warm. So we don't want to use that. This Optiplex here is another example of something in perfect condition that we don't want to use. Okay, so what are we going to use? Well, I believe I found exactly what we're going to use, and it's right here. I'm going to lift it up on the table with two hands, and I'll be right. I believe this is the perfect machine for what we want to use here. This is a compact Presario 5280, and while I really do like these compact machines, and if it was in better shape, I would, you know, not run it 24/7, but this thing's beat up. It's missing the door here. It's got quite a bit of scratching here. This is not, that's deep. Same thing goes for the other side. It's missing the door that goes over here. The case is kind of bent and buckled. But at least last time I had this turned on, it does work. So this is the perfect machine that is in bad shape enough for me to not feel bad about running it 24/7, and potentially, although it's old enough to where I doubt it would give any issues ever, potentially sorta run it into the ground. However, it's exactly the right specs. I believe this is a Pentium 3 or a Celeron or something. Haven't looked in here. I don't know what's going to jump out at us. I know the machine works. I think it has Windows 2000 installed on it, which is perfect. First thing I'm noticing is we have one of these really big quantum Bigfoot hard drives here. This is something that Compaq really love to do for some reason. I've never really understood the Bigfoot, because I understand that for the size, and the platters were larger, basically. But they're really not that much larger. Like, this is the cutoff. So, the platter has to be, what, like, can it even be the size of a CD? Yeah, I suppose the platter is probably the size of a CD. So it's really, I mean, it's bigger than a regular hard drive, but not by much. Anyway, this is a Quantum Bigfoot TS. Suppose we'll have to figure out how many gigabytes it is if it works. It did work before, but it's been sitting around forever. One thing that's a little concerning is this power supply. I know Compaq's from this era weren't exactly the most reliable thing. This is a MyTac branded power supply. I'm seeing a CD in the bottom. Graphics driver for this PC. It is a bitch defined. Good to know. I suppose we'll leave that in there. I'm sure this thing's going to have a dead CMOS battery. It's got RAM in it. I suppose I should get to the CMOS battery, wherever it might be hiding. One thing about these 90s PCs is they have a really nice small compact chassis, but they're really a bitch to get to anything. Let me pull this power supply forward, I guess, and see if I can get to the CMOS battery. So just a quick visual inspection inside this power supply. I'm not seeing any, through here, any bloated caps or anything really of concern. There's a light bit of dust, but not even enough to really bother blowing it out. Down here is our CPU. It looks like it's passively cooled. I would imagine the power supply probably cools it some. I don't know if you can see that, but it does indeed say Celeron right there. It is a slotted processor. This thing has like old AT style connectors on it. However, I am not seeing a CMOS battery. I'm hoping this doesn't have one of those stupid clock chips with an integrated battery. I believe I can open this... Oh, it's been a while since I've worked with one of these. I believe the back... Yes. There's a screw here, and this whole thing, it's on its own thing, kind of pivots and pulls out this way. So I suppose we'll do that. CMOS battery might be up in this corner somewhere. Alright, you just want screw. Thing pulls... You see, it kind of pushes back and then pulls out. And you can completely remove it, but I'm not going to. I can see the CMOS battery thing here. There's not a battery currently in there. I'm guessing this might be for graphics RAM? I'm not sure. It has one stick of RAM currently in it. Looks like an IBM stick. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I'm going to pop a CMOS battery in there. And I believe this machine is running Windows 2000, if I remember correctly. Which is perfect, because it's NT based, it's very stable for staying up 24/7, and it's lightweight. XP would be fine as well, if that's what's on here. However, XP is a little bit heavier, although in reality, the amount it is negligible. At least for our use case. Alright, so our CMOS battery is installed. I'm going to button this back up, and I suppose we'll plug it in and see what happens. Alright, I got the computer hooked up. I believe the KVM switch is on the correct input. Everything's plugged in, nothing's caught on fire yet. Now this machine probably hasn't been turned on in a couple years, but anyway, one interesting note about this machine, I believe it was made in probably 1998 or 99. I would believe it would have been pre-2000 because it had a Windows 98 sticker just barely hanging on to it when I pulled it out, although apparently it's gotten gone somewhere. So, at that time, having front USB ports was definitely a luxury, and this one has not one, but two. But interestingly enough, there's none on the back at all. So that's nice. Anyway, I haven't put the cover back on. Cover's still over there, because as anyone who has worked with computers knows, if you leave the cover off, it'll work perfectly fine, but if you put that cover back on before testing it, something will go wrong. So without further ado, let's see what happens. I suspect it's going to be mad because the CMOS had no battery in it. Well, it's plugged in, right? There we go. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, I suppose it would help if it were turned on, wouldn't it? Quantum Bigfoot is making Quantum Bigfoot sounds. Monitor has action. How much RAM do we have? 64 meg? No! 128 meg? 131, interesting. Must have some onboard RAM as well. Let's see if we can get into the setup. I believe it's either F10, F2, delete, I think it's F10 on these old compacts. I'm hoping there's an operating system on here. I believe I remember putting Windows 2000 on here. Because I really don't feel like installing an operating system right now. Come on, bro, do something. I'm sure it's having to go through all of its, all of its tests. If I hit escape, maybe. I'm sure it's having to go through all of its tests and make sure its drives are still there. Anything in here? No. Because the CMOS battery, like I said, had been removed. So I have to get in there. We'll set the date and time. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to be used online, but I suppose we might as well go ahead and set it. I'm not going to cut this camera because I know the second I do, it's going to start doing something. Numlock key isn't really doing anything, but it's flashing, so it's not locked. We'll let it sit here for about another 30 seconds before we try power cycling it. Pressing the power button, it's doing nothing, so I don't know. It's flashing, so it's not completely froze. Just turn it off and then back on here. I'm going to hit escape to make it cancel its test there. And okay, I just heard the floppy drive seek. I don't think it did before. The keyboard is responding. Okay, here we go. System options not set. Yeah, so we've got 12 gigabyte hard drive, it looks like. Can I get into the BIOS? Are we? Start pressing buttons here and hoping something happens. Hey, something! Alright, we speak English. It thinks the date is 1/20 of 99. Let's see here. System post fast, power management. We don't want any of that. System inactivity timeout, 30 minutes. We definitely don't want that. We want that disabled. Communications, not concerned about that. Storage, I suppose let's disable floppy drive. Not installed, not installed. Operating system type, DOS only or DOS and Windows. Other I guess Windows. Of course, it's Windows 98. Or sorry, Windows, I don't know, I suppose we'll see what's on here. Because it's Windows 98 or 9X based, so like Millennium or something, that's probably what you want. But if it's not, if it's Windows 2000 or XP, which I think it is, I don't know, I think I'm overthinking it. Secondary IDE controller, let's disable that too. I'm going to disable as much of that as I can because I don't want any sort of errors, and I don't need to use floppy drive, zip drive, CD, any of that. USB legacy support, we'll turn that on. Where do I go to change the time? This is what drives me nuts. What is going on here? It thinks it's 1/20 of 99. What the hell? System activity timer. Alternative memory reporting. Memory speed setup. Am I missing something? You won't be under storage or multimedia or any of that. Okay, I suppose we will try to set it in the operating system, and hopefully that's enough. I would really like to set this thing to, in the event of a power failure, turn back on. But this BIOS is very stripped down, apparently. Are you going to boot, or are you just going to keep boot looping? What's going on here? You're not even trying. The fact that there's a hard drive in here tells me... Oh, jeez. Okay, apparently we have Windows 98, which is probably fine. It might be a little bit less than ideal, but it's probably fine. Windows 9X is really not very good at long, continuous uptime. However, what I'm doing is pretty lightweight, so it may be okay. So I suppose we'll just continue for now, and hopefully it doesn't cause a problem. And if it does cause a problem... Oh geez, I got a password on here? I'm guessing it's nothing. Okay, the time is wrong, so yeah, let's set that. There's two date and time... Oh, fucking Windows 98. Okay. Alright. Let's see here. December, it is. June of 2025. We are still running Windows 98. Isn't that incredible? 2000... And I'm typing it in and you're not accepting it. Alright, I suppose we have to hit all the way up one at a time. Now we're at 2099 somehow. Oh, for Christ's sake. $2025, June 26. Time zone is correct. It is 7:52. I still can't type numbers. Alright. I suppose I'm going to go ahead and hook up a pair of speakers just because we need to make sure the sound and everything's working. I normally wouldn't hook up a pair of speakers on a test bench, but since what we're doing is sound oriented, we kind of need them. Okay, I've gone ahead and hooked up speakers, and we've got the thing working. The problem is the program I'm trying to install and the files I want to, the music is on a USB drive, so I suppose, let's see, some versions of Windows. I suppose let's go into the system properties. Let's just make sure. Oh, come on, man. Windows 98. Let's, doesn't help that I think the Quantum Bigfoot is a 3600 RPM hard drive. Let's go into Control Panel, and let's make sure, first of all, set to never turn off, never blank screen. Make sure there's no crazy thing like a screensaver enabled. There's not. I also want to go into here. No. There's a way. Do I have to make a new user for this? Create a new user. Okay. Do I have to do that? I've already. How do I edit a user? That's. No, I don't want to restart now. I just want to go here. Change settings. No, how do I know there's a way to automatically have it log in without me having to press enter. I suppose let me just try restarting and seeing what it does. I guess I was just using the default account or whatever. You want to hear some Quantum Bigfoot noises? I don't know how well you can hear them. It still wants me to hit enter. Okay. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that. Yeah, let me figure out how to do that. I'll be back. Okay, I believe we've got it right this time. Let's see here. It's such a pain in the damn ass. If I just had Windows 2000 on here, then none of this would be a pain in the ass. But I don't have Windows 2000 on here. I have Windows 98 on here. It would probably be a better use of my time to erase this and install Windows 2000 on here, but judging by the fact that the audio or the graphics driver is a bitch to find, I really just don't feel like playing with any of that right now, so this should work. Let's see if it logs in. No, it does not. No. God damn it. Maybe? Please? Maybe? Come on. God damn it. Okay, I think I finally got it right, maybe. Windows 98 is kind of stupid as far as user accounts go. And I remember this being an issue before and having issues with this, and I finally got it right. What you have to do, and I'll show you when you're in, I'll show you just in case you're trying to follow along. I suppose we should probably make sure it works properly first. Why are you disk checking? You shut down properly. Are you trying to fool me? I love how long this is taking to boot. This is an entirely clean installation of Windows. Like, there's nothing on here, not a single program. And it's still asking me to log on. What? Okay, so this one was particularly tricky. I finally got it doing what I want it to do. So, what you gotta do, or at least what you normally gotta do, is go into Network and change this from Windows Network something or other to just say Windows Logon. Then you've got to go into Passwords, and there's another tab which luckily is gone. Then you hit from users customize to users share the same preferences. Then you go create, oh no, you go and create a new user, which then you put a blank password in for, and then you have to restart it, and then it will prompt you again, which is what happened there, and then you have to log in again. Just hit enter, log in that time, and then the next time you restart it, it will do what you want it to do. So we were almost all the way there. As I was saying before we got tied up in this, the files that I want to copy onto this computer, the program that I want to run, and I suppose I should make sure that the power settings are still fine. The program that I want to run, yes, this I'll never make sure, this is not an option on here. It's all on a USB drive, and I believe it's formatted FAT32. This is Windows 98 2nd edition, so I guess let's just plug it in and see what happens. Windows 98 doesn't take too kindly to USB drives sometimes. But it looks like this one's going to work. Or at least show up. Oh, okay, it opened it. Now, I'm going to go ahead, instead of trying to run this from here, I'm going to copy this here and paste it onto my desktop so that this is running off of the hard drive. And of course, 16 minutes remaining, so I'm not going to continue recording that. But of course, this is USB 1.0, so yeah. So I'll be back once that's done copying. Alright. Unplug the drive. Let's make sure everything's here. These are all the songs. Let's play something here. Cannot open. Please verify that the path and file name are correct. Alright, let's try a different one. I remember this. Okay, I'm sure that's copyrighted heavily. I remember this. Some of these, they're MP3 files mostly, I think. It doesn't say. And I think some of these, those speakers try so hard to be bassy, but just can't handle it. Anyway, some of these, for some reason, will not work on Windows Media Player, but you use a different player, it should be fine, so they should still be fine. I'm going to delete a bunch of this stuff we don't use. I don't need Outlook Express, don't need Connect to the Internet. I've removed all network stuff from this. Yes, I want to remove online services. I don't want to set up an MSN account. We'll leave my documents because I believe... Oh, no, there is documents in the start menu. Alright, we'll delete that. There is no delete. Oh, remove from desktop. Okay. We'll leave my computer. And, oh, it does let you remove Internet Explorer. I know Windows 95 I don't think will let you. Anyway, we have WinRAR. I suppose we will leave, for now, WinRAR there. Now, the program we're going to be installing is this one. Let me zoom in with this camera, because I know it's high definition, and you can see it's called Zara Radio, or Zara Radio, or something. And this is something you can still download right now. And it claims it requires Windows 10 or later. Or I think it said Windows 7 or later, or something like that. And it requires like a gigabyte of RAM and a dual-core processor. That's all a bunch of bullshit. This program hasn't really been changed since, I believe it was 2005. And it installs just fine on a Pentium 3 in Windows 98. So go ahead and install that. We will indeed create a desktop icon. It's installing now. I'm not going to launch it automatically. I want to remove that. Yes, and I'm going to launch it myself. And we want to change that to English, because it says Spanish. I do not want to show tips on startup. It says you should not show these. I don't want tips. Now, to add music, we're going to go here. It shows it over here. And can I just drag? No, I cannot. Alright, can I put this whole folder? I mean, I can drag these one at a time into there. And it will play them. It is trying so hard to be bassy, even on something that doesn't need to be. These speakers, I've hit stop. Wow, that is so delayed. It like slowly fades out. These speakers are just... They really try, but they're just not... They want to be large woofers, and they're just not. Alright, am I going to have to go through and, like, control-click all of these? Can I remove this, just for now? Alright. Let's see here. The mouse cord is now tangled. Alright, maybe one of these. File, open. Desktop. Here. All supported files. I guess not. Playlist. Add tracks. What am I looking for? Here, this folder. I should find the tracks. I've hit add tracks. Alright, cool. Now I'm just gonna do that. Select all of those and hit open. And it is adding them. This bar is getting smaller, and there they are. Now, I should be able to go up here and change this from repeat to shuffle. Now, normal will play it just, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's it, and stop. I believe repeat will replay them all through and then start over again, but they'll keep playing them all in order. Manual, I guess you have to individually go and manually do the songs, I would imagine. Random is completely random, which is fine. I'm going to put it on shuffle. Shuffle is semi-random, but not completely random, but it does ensure that it doesn't play 2 tracks in a row, and it will play every track before it plays the same one again. So that's what I'm going to put this on. And I believe if we hit... there is a way... see, you can save this playlist, save these settings, and then it will save it as its own desktop shortcut, and then you launch that, and it launches the settings you saved here. And I believe there's a way to... I just gotta find it. Enable the thing starting already playing. Options, maybe? Detect the end of song, fade on stop, fade on overlap. General. Enable auto start. maybe enable auto start is what we want. I'm going to go ahead and hit File, Save. We're just going to save this to the desktop for now. And I'm just going to put this as, I guess we'll just save that as that. And we will click Save. And I'm going to close this, and you can see it saved it here as its own separate, if you can see this right here. So I'm going to open that now. And it did indeed auto start when I hit play. Or when I opened it, and it's on shuffle, everything stayed the same. So I'm going to go ahead and hit stop once again before we get a copyright notification. And now what I think I can do is, if Windows 98 has this option, okay, it does have a startup folder, I'm going to drag this and put it into the startup folder. Startup. Alright. So now we'll go to Programs, Accessories, Startup, wherever it is. Alright, and it's there. So I'm going to shut down the computer. Now next time we turn the computer on, it should, and now I'm going to do one more thing, because this thing's probably going to yell at me. And that is, I'm going to unplug the keyboard. And see if it will start up without saying no keyboard found, press F1 to continue. Now Compaq is bad about that, so I might have to have a keyboard connected to this thing. Yeah, keyboard or system unit error. Oh, but it's going to continue. Okay, because ideally I'd just like to have a little tiny monitor hooked up to this. I don't know why it's doing the check disk thing. I shut it down properly, as you saw, but whatever. Anyway, ideally I'd just have a mouse and a little tiny monitor hooked up to it in case something went wrong, but this would be mainly headless. So like I just turned it on and I really don't have to press anything. So ideally I shouldn't have, you know, I don't want to have to do a bunch of input, because it's not going to be like a whole computer setup. It's going to be a computer hooked up to this radio transmitter, and that's about it. I will have, like I said, that maybe that little 9-inch Fujitsu monitor just for, you know, monitoring in case something needs to be done or I need to add tracks or something, and a mouse, and that's about it. So hopefully it's going to automatically launch that and just start playing. It appears that it is. Although it's playing in the same... What if I hit next? Is it... Well, it seems to me like it's just playing them in order, but I do have it on shuffle. Let me just see if I close it and open it again, if that's the same order. It is. It's really not shuffling them, is it? What if I put it on random? Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting in the evening come. Alright. See, it's playing them in the same damn order, even though I got them on shuffle. Sitting in the morning sun. Okay. It's just playing them in the same order. I have it on shuffle, So it should be shuffling them. Why is it not? For crying out loud. What? Why are you... Did I hit the stop button. Why are you continuing to play? This sweepers editor. I guess that's not important. Options. Well, if I put it on random, and that kind of truly does random, but the problem is that if you have it on random, it can play the same song, you know, twice in a row. Or even... Alright, now is it truly going to shuffle? Not really. Although I suppose they are changing to different orders. So I guess that's right. It just keeps moving the order of them in this list instead of just kind of jumping around. So, why did it go back to normal instead of... But it always starts by playing the same damn thing. Because it went back to normal. What the fuck? Yeah, it's just... It's just playing the same thing. It's just... I've got it on shuffle, and it's just playing them in order. So I suppose I need to figure out what's going on here, and I'll be back again. No. Okay, I suppose that this is important then. Didn't create another one, it just kind of copied it. Okay, I'll figure it out, I guess. Okay, so it turns out that it is doing what it's supposed to do, and I was just expecting it to operate differently. So obviously random just plays random, but the description for shuffle that I got was that it shuffles through songs in the playlist. However, it does not play the same song twice in a row. It will play all of them before it starts over. And while that is correct, it's not going to play the first song here, then the third one, then the fourth one, then the fifth one, or whatever. What it actually does, and if we go into playlist and actually manually hit shuffle, you'll see that it moves these tracks around quite a bit. So what apparently it will do is it will play through all of this playlist, and then once it gets to the end, it will shuffle all of these in the playlist, and then it will start over with the shuffled playlist, continue through, and once again, once it's done, it then will shuffle the playlist. So what we're seeing is normal. It does indeed play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but every time it plays all the way through, it changes the order of them. It shuffles it around. So this is indeed doing what it's supposed to do. So now, what we want to do is go ahead. I'm going to put the cover back on this and close it up, but then I'm going to have to pull out the radio transmitter before I disconnect this monitor and mouse and all of that, because the radio transmitter is very sensitive. You have to turn the volume kind of down, so I'm going to have to get that tweaked where we want it to be, and then we will continue. So I'll be right back. Okay, the computer's buttoned back up. I still got the mouse plugged in, but no keyboard. And I've got, I don't know if this is going to be correct or not. Instead of hooking it up to the speaker output, I hooked it up to the line level output. Hopefully it will output audio to that. I've got it hooked into the talking house. I've just got our standard long wire now. Ideally you'd want this to go straight up. But in this case, this is the factory long wire. It's 10 feet, I believe, and that is the antenna you need to leave. In this case, it doesn't really matter. I've just got it kind of there. And then over there, I've got a radio tuned roughly to 1050, which is what the transmitter is currently on. So we should, in a second, hear something, even if it's too loud. Assuming it outputs on the correct thing. I'm not hearing anything. But it is automatically launching the program, and it is now playing, supposedly. Let's see if we can find that. But I guess this really quiet spot is our transmitter, so I don't know if it will allow me to do line out. Some sound cards only pass line out through. They won't actually output system sounds or whatever to the line output. I'm not sure about this particular one. So I suppose the easiest thing to do would just be to plug it into the speaker output. We still got absolutely no sound. What the hell? I can hear it there. We got that's got to be it. This has an internal speaker, which isn't very helpful, but maybe I should turn that up just to see. And we got nothing going into it. That is indeed inline input. Oh, there we go. Oh, now it's calibrating because it moved to 1060. I don't want it on 1060. This switch is really dirty. But you can hear it's really overmodulated and peaking. So what we need to go and do is turn the volume down on here, because this thing's expecting line. So we're going to turn it down. That's about only a quarter of the way up now. Still doesn't sound great. But it sounds a lot better. Let me turn it down a little more, maybe. It's really hard to tell from here. I need to take this radio further away from here. It's overloading the radio. Cat, just because the door opens doesn't mean you instantly need to come darting in. And I'll close the door so that you don't go in there and mess with anything. Alright. Let's take the radio out here. No, I fed you already. Alright, we'll put the radio right here. Should... What is that? Quit! Bot, quit! This damn digital dishwasher putting off radio interference. I swear everything puts off radio interference these days. I bet this thing does a lot too.
Very good. And let's do Masha. Masha, 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 banana, Masha, Masha. Nick, Nick, banana, banana,
okay. Sounds about as good as this radio ever does, and it sounds about as good as the Talking House ever does. They're really not tuned for high fidelity. AM isn't at all, but especially those. But it's usable now. Now what I'm gonna... Alright, you're gonna have to go away because you're biting me because you're getting mad because I'm not feeding you even though you've already been fed. Alright. What I'm gonna do, turn the computer off, bring it out here, put it right there just for testing. Put the transmitter on top of it, you know. Then we're gonna turn it on with no monitor attached. I mean, I'm going to eventually have that little 10-inch monitor, I suppose. But, I should really turn this off. I am tempting the copyright gods. Put the computer here. It should automatically, without me touching anything, without a monitor or whatever. I have to have a mouse connected because Windows freaks out if you don't. But other than that, we should be good. So I'm going to do that, and we'll be right back. Okay, here we are. Just got the computer and transmitter plugged in. There's a mouse attached to the computer, but I'm not going to mess with it. Just Windows needs a mouse to be connected or else it freaks out. I know there's a setting you can change, but whatever. I'm eventually going to have a monitor and a mouse hooked up to this anyway. But the idea is to not have to interact with it more than turning it on. So I've got the wire antenna going up around here. It's not ideal because it's looping over. You want it vertical. I also realize it's not ideal to have the transmitter this close to the computer. I also realize it's not ideal to have them on the same ground. I realize that I should have the thing coupled through a transformer and a shielded cable at the very least. Whatever. Alright, let's go ahead and turn the computer on. Hear quantum Bigfoot noises. I'm going to go turn the radio up, and it's going to take it a second to start up. And I realize the radio is probably going to be overloaded. The transmitter's right there, but we should hear. And this is the dimmer switch, by the way. No, it's not. Anyway, I'll figure out the interference later. Assuming the computer is booting. Though I am not seeing the hard drive activity I was hoping for. Oh, there it goes. I got a bunch of hard drive activity. What's going on here? Don't make me pull a monitor out here. What the hell? It just turned off. Okay, we'll try that again. There's a distinct possibility it was mad because it was unplugged and it had to figure itself out again, although I changed that CMOS battery. Should be booting by now. Why aren't we? Oh, there it goes. Listen to the radio. You can hear the hard drive activity through the radio. It's like it's getting to a certain point and then just stopping. Does it recognize there's no monitor attached, maybe? I don't think it should. It's just a VGA monitor. Okay, I'll go grab a monitor. I've hauled out a monitor. How do I change the input on this fucking thing? For fuck's sake. Okay. None of these buttons do a damn thing. Is this on? That's on. See, it says display port. I don't want it on display port. I want it on VGA. Alright, let's just turn the computer on. That should be working perfectly fine, but for some damn reason it's not. Let's trip over the box. And then let's continue to struggle here. What's going on? Okay. It's displaying, it's posting. Keyboard, that's fine. It didn't make me press anything before. Oh, the damn thing's going into safe mode? Okay. Grab a damn keyboard, I guess, then. Why are you going into safe mode? Or did we have this damn thing working perfectly fine? Perfectly fine. And now for no reason, it's decided it's not going to. So now I've got a whole damn computer setup going on with a monitor, a mouse, and a keyboard, which is exactly what I wanted to avoid. Okay. What the hell? You didn't need me to press normal on the keyboard? Oh, Jesus. Okay, install the driver for the monitor that you're never going to use again. Go ahead. Alright. Now let's turn it off. Unplug the keyboard. Unplug the monitor, because those are things that I don't need hooked up. Only really need a mouse. Let's turn the computer back on and see if it magically works this time for no reason. Seems like it's trying to boot. It's definitely doing it now. And then it just stopped. Okay. Seems like it's booting now. And it stops. I suppose let me plug this monitor in and just see what it's telling me now. Where the hell... Where did the damn VGA cable came out of the monitor? And the computer just shut off before I could see what in the hell is wrong. Okay. Let's turn it back on again. Why are you doing this? You shouldn't be this. What is your problem? I bet now it's going to do the safe mode thing again. The fuck? What does this say? What are these lines? Does this computer just not work unless there's a monitor attached? What the hell? Sounds like it's trying to boot, but now we just got white. I wonder if this has something to do with that compact. Alright, let's connect the keyboard back up. I bet this has something to do with that stupid compact iPack thing. It's trying to do something stupid here. So let's restart it again and maybe go into the BIOS and see if is it F10, F2, it's something. And it completely ignored me. Alright. Pretty sure it's F10 on compact, right? Keyboard error. The keyboard's connected, you bastard. Okay. What do we got? System post, fast. PCI, master, I don't know what that is. PCI, VGA Snoop. Compact USB multimedia monitor auto detection. I want that not present. Onboard monochrome video mode support. Disable that. I don't know what that means. Save changes and reboot. Let me just see. Alright, I'm going to turn it off before it starts trying to boot so it doesn't give me that damn safe mode thing again. Disconnect the monitor. See if it'll boot this time. See, the hard drive activity light is like just solid, like it's... Why is it struggling when there's no monitor attached? I hear hard drive activity, it's trying to boot. This doesn't, I don't think it's doing it. It cut off. Why is it turning off when there's no monitor attached? There's no reason for it to turn off. God damn you. I suppose it doesn't really matter, because I'm going to have a monitor attached anyway. Not this stupid giant-ass thing, but whatever. So, We'll just leave that plugged in, and it should do what it needs to do without complaining. Oh my God. I don't want safe mode. I don't need safe mode. Okay, I guess we just have to have a monitor attached for some reason. So now we have a message, there's a problem with your display settings. The adapter type is incorrect or the current settings do not work with your hardware. So, I can grab this mouse and we'll select OK. 16 colors, yeah, that's what I want. We'll leave it at 640 by 480. Okay, we gotta restart again. Keyboard is not connected, is it? Because I'm not gonna have a keyboard connected. No, okay. That was not a full restart. God, I hate LCDs. Alright. Okay, now, this time, why is the computer all turned sideways? I don't know how something like that would happen. Okay, now, I guess the moral of the story is, with this computer, absolutely under no circumstances are you to ever turn it on without a monitor connected, or else the damn thing will implode on itself. So we have a monitor connected, we have a mouse connected. I am going to turn it on, and I shouldn't have to hit anything other than this power switch, and it should do what it's supposed to do. Shouldn't matter that I don't have any keyboard connected. So just never try to turn on a compact Presario without a monitor attached, because the damn thing will implode on itself. So, it should work now, right? I'm not concerned about the Microsoft disk check. I did shut it down improperly that time. Whatever, it can go ahead and do that. The main thing is I don't want to have to click anything, press anything, set up anything. I should be able to turn it on and have it work. So if it does now, then we're absolutely not going to touch anything, never turn it on without a monitor ever again. We'll hook that little 9-inch VGA monitor up to it when I put it where it's supposed to go, and we should be good. That's probably just this dirty switch again, but it's working. Okay. There we go. Might have to clean that switch, but other than that, this radio is so overloaded. Maybe now we take this back in the other room. But anyway, now we're finally doing what we're supposed to do. We can't turn on the computer without a monitor, which, you know, I wasn't going to anyway, but it doesn't seem like it should cause it to implode the way it does. But whatever, who cares?
Kept returning. What else was there for me to do but cry? Would you believe that yesterday this girl was in my arms?
Okay, there we go. Just not have to press anything. That's excellent. I don't know why the hell that was such a goddamn pain. I should not have to have a monitor attached. That's probably a Windows 98 thing too. Once again, if I would have put 2000 on this, it wouldn't have been a problem. I know what's going to happen. This is going to start causing problems, and I'm going to end up putting Windows 2000 on here anyway. So I really ended up saving no time. But that's okay. I'm not touching anything else. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next. Okay, it's been going for a while. It's still doing what it's supposed to do. Got the radio still playing in here. Have I ever mentioned I hate Windows 98? I just don't like it. Windows Millennium Edition, for some reason, I have found to be a lot less infuriating than Windows 98. I don't know why the hell it's on this computer. Maybe it was just already on here. I really thought I put Windows 2000 on here, because the thing is, I see no reason to run it, unless you're wanting to play Windows 98 era games like that. That machine, I do have a Windows 98 era gaming machine, even though I don't really play games. But for basic tasks, there's really no reason to run it, because anything that will run Windows 98 well will also run Windows 2000 well. And Windows 2000 is just so much more stable, so much less annoying with little things like not booting with no monitor connected, or, you know, not allowing you have to go into the registry and delete a bunch of networking shit so that it'll log in without you having to press enter. You know, all of that. The real fix to this, to make this work flawlessly, I would have had it up and running in 5 minutes. After, of course, having the Windows install, and that's the big key here, would to be either put Windows XP or Windows 2000 on this system. XP would be better, of course, for modern software, but since this isn't really modern software, wow, this is a washed out. Since this isn't really modern software, it doesn't really matter. Windows 2000 would have been fine and probably boot up a little quicker on this machine. But, once again, drivers. It might have found them automatically, it might not have. I didn't want to format this hard drive just to find out I'm going to have driver issues. So, whatever. I mean, Windows 98 is working fine. Now that it's set up, it's working fine. Setting it up was just a pain in the damn ass. But yeah, it's a pain. I don't really deal with this kind of stuff anymore, because it just causes problems. I mean, this era hardware, I'm fine with it. This is a Pentium 2 or Pentium 3 era machine. This will run Windows XP just fine. Pretty much, I don't have much of a use for anything older, anything too old to run Windows XP, or anything too new to run Windows XP. But, you know, Windows XP will run on a Pentium 1, it'll run on a 5th Gen i7, so whatever. Windows X, if you're having a computer problem, the correct solution is Windows XP. However, in this case, I just didn't feel like doing a full reinstall. Yeah, it would have probably, at the end of the day, been a lot less trouble. I remember a long time ago, and I don't know, I'll see if I can find it. Maybe I'll put a clip of it in this video here when I was getting a bit mad at this thing. I was getting ready to throw it out the damn window. There's like this video, God, this had to have been 15 years ago now, if not even more, where it was called fucking Windows 98, and like this guy is sitting there, I forget exactly what he's doing, transferring files or something. There's a fucking possum. hell? Yo. Hey. Hey, you. Well, it's odd. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, he's like transferring files or something. It's like taking forever, and he's sitting there getting mad, slamming at the keyboard. And then the computer like blue screens. He gets mad and he starts smashing the keyboard. He's like screaming, "Fucking Windows 98!" He ends up throwing the thing out the window and goes outside. His friend pulls up in a car and he like goes outside. He's jumping on the damn thing and whacking it with the keyboard. And his friend just kind of looks at him and goes, "Fucking Windows 98?" And they're like, "Yeah, fucking Windows 98. I'll see if I can find a clip of that. That was years ago. It's probably still on YouTube though. Anyway, it's been running for a while now. It seems big, happy, sunshine, smiley face now. You know, just like this guy here. You know, this guy is very happy because he got new brake rotors. Well, this computer is happy because now it's playing music. So there you go. This was a pain in the damn ass. I think I started this at like 7 o'clock, and it is currently nearly 11. It's 10:21. I started this around 7, I think. And yeah, that was not fun. Most of the time, however, was not spent setting this up. It was spent battling with the CMOS battery and then battling with getting the thing to log in on its own without having to have that was the big one, battling with that, and then battling with getting the damn thing to boot just to find out the damn thing won't even boot without a monitor attached. So whatever. Anyway, it's done now. It's working now. And now that it's working, that Quantum Bigfoot will probably give out tomorrow. If that is the case, we are putting Windows 2000 on here, not Windows 98. I can guarantee you that.
Shit. Where the hell is that floppy disk? Come on, let's go. Hurry up. Why are you freezing? Hurry up! Fuck, come on! Fuck, come on! Are you kidding me? What? Fuck! Blue screen! God damn it! I don't have time for this shit bullshit! Fucking Windows 98! I don't know what to tell you, man, but all the codes were on my hard drive.
Fucking Windows 98.
Fucking Windows 98.